Hey guys, Jay here, and in this video today I want to show you the Uber Cortex fight. I have been farming it a little bit, and yeah, with this character accuracy stacking. So let's get to it, right? Let's see the mods first a little bit to prepare for what is coming. So basically, this one is a lot of damage, extra cold. So as long as we just kill them before they kill us, it's okay. That is the best layer of defense. And I am going to still clear this particular map with a falling frostblade. Right? Sometimes I think the harder one for Uber Cortex in terms of like modifier is the one that they are tankier. For example, like take less crit damage, or maybe like extra ES. Those kind of things is probably the worst one. That is going to be like hard to deal with on this particular build, because if they die slower, then you have more chance to be killed. Basically, it's just that simple. But if you like instantly kill almost everything, then chances are you will not die. Let's just get to the boss while clearing a little bit on the way. I'm going to clear half the map, so you know, maybe after I finish the video I will clear the rest, right? Because yeah, it is XP, it is free loot, so why not? I already bought the fragments to do it. Okay, so let's just, I'm out of portal scroll. Holy shit. Where can I get some portal scroll, please? Oh no. Where can I get some portal scroll, please? Okay, here is 6 portal scroll. That's good enough. That's good enough. I am going to take it. 3 Faces in the Dark, Pepper's Luck. They are all, I think, dog shit card. Right. Let's just drop a scroll over here and let's get into the fight. So what I normally do is I stand here, right? And I just spam for a little bit, maybe 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds, I don't know. But you should prepare for the fight with this particular setup. And we can do it like this. I think this is like a very, very good approach for this particular build. And then let's just start the fight. And what I like to do normally here is stand in this spot, because this is where we are going to spawn a boss, to spam a little bit, and then this is the second spot. So as you can see here, they're spawning 2 targets and we are going to instantly kill both. Next, I'm going to stand here because yeah, this guy is going to appear and I just want to spam a little bit. And yeah, that is just it. And now we just spam a little bit in the middle. This is going to be the ad phase. The ad phase is not a problem, but we want to like leave a little bit of projectiles in every single direction. So anything that appear will just like immediately dies, right? So if you see which side you are lacking in terms of projectiles and damage uptime over there, then just go ahead and cover that side with some more projectiles. Okay, right here we go back to around the middle here and just spam a little bit more. Put the brand down a little bit. The brand, what the brand is giving me is actually the golem, the ice golem, which gives me a lot of accuracy rating actually. Okay, we need to wait for that mechanic to be over and we can come back, and yeah, that is the fight. It is very, very easy, very straightforward. If you are like even better than me mechanically, you can do it a little bit faster, I think. But overall, this current setup can kind of, face roll through this encounter quite easily, actually. So let's just stay in here and, go through the setup a little bit more, because there's a little bit of changes from, at least from the previous video that I showed you. So previously, I showed you the mechanic of the reduced projectile speed, how it interact with Spectral Helix. But for someone who didn't see that video, basically Spectral Helix is traveling a fixed distance before it disappears. So the slower the projectile speed, the more uptime that you will have on the projectile. So because it's travel very slowly, right? If I remove this one, if I attack, you will see the projectiles travel very fast. And when they reach a certain distance, it will disappear, right? The duration for it is very slow. And why do we want the uptime of the projectile to be very slow and very like long uptime like this? Because mechanically, Spectral Helix can hit a same target multiple times. There's no limitation to how many time maximum a projectile of Spectral Helix can hit a single target. It just had an internal cooldown of 0.3 seconds, I think. So yeah, we need to have a lot of projectiles uptime. It would just cover everything in the circle. For example, if I just stand here and just spam the attack, then it would just eventually create a multiple spiral circle around the area that I'm standing. And basically it just kills everything that spawn in that particular area, right? So this is a accuracy stacker for damage, basically scaling damage as a accuracy stacker. It is very straightforward, so you can go through POE for that. We are going to use the Doriani prototype as well to reduce the lightning resistance of the enemy, which result in the very high damage if we are close to the enemy. If you noticed in the previous fight, when I dodge away here, there is almost no damage dealt because the monsters suddenly have very high resistance. But when I like whirling blade back into the middle, the minus 200% resistances kick in, and instantly the final golem, the yellow / orange one, the brown one, is dying like instantly, right? So yeah, that is the damage. What I am having is right here only 10% reduced projectile speed over here, along with 82%. So right here I am having 92% reduced projectile speed, which means my actual projectile speed is 8% of whatever the normal projectile speed looks like. Why do I remove the last point here, even though it is a very strong, very efficient point? Well, if you have this last point, the projectiles that you are having travel so slowly that actually you need to wait for, like, I would say around 2 minutes for the projectiles to even like reach the second spiral circle kind of thingy. So right here I am standing still and attacking for, I would say, like roughly 20 seconds by now, and it reached this much area, right? If I go to 99 or anywhere from 99 to more than 100% reduced projectile speed, it is all going to be 99%, which means we have 1% projectile speed, which means it travels so goddamn slowly that it can only reach this level of coverage in like a minute, maybe more than a minute. Because technically 1% is 8 times less than 8%, which is what I have right here. I think anywhere like around the ballpark of 90%, I think 92% is a little bit too slow actually. 90%, 85 to 90% is probably the sweet spot that you kind of want for like an easy and quick encounter. Probably it's like the optimal speed that you want your projectiles to be. So the projectile speed should be around 10% to 15%. Here I am having 8%, which is acceptable. But it just still takes a little while for the projectiles to actually, spiral around and cover a decent area of effect. So yeah, that is the projectile speed. Other than that, this is a pretty standard accuracy stacking build. It's a little bit different in the sense that I am going this way for blood magic and try to grab one additional endurance charge just because the endurance charge is very strong. But here I am having blood magic. The reason for blood magic is if you are spending mana on an attack, it is actually quite easy for you to sustain if you have something that you are hitting, because you can leech, you can get mana on hit from claw mastery. There is, multiple ways for you to sustain mana, except for the fact that you need to pre-fire before the encounter like this one, and having mana is not really a good way for you to actually do this. You might need the Lavyanga mana flask that during effect it makes your skill cost no mana in order to spam a bunch of projectiles. That is very clunky and that is not reliable, and the duration mattered. So just go blood magic, just solve a lot of problems. So when you do not hit anything, you can still spam a lot of projectiles. And even if you are spending a little bit too much life, for example, here I am outspending my regen, you can simply just press a life flask, because normally during fight you don't use life flask because your leech, your instant leech, your life in on hit, your leech rate is so high that is covering all your recovery. And if you die, you just die. You will not have time to actually press a life flask actually to recover from anything, to be honest. So yeah, that is going to be the setup. I am going to leave the POE into this character in the description, just so you know this, because I bought this early on when I see it, so I got it for 100 divine, which is, I think, an absolute steal. But you realistically should not be able to have this one, because it should take like a tremendous amount of currency to make. Because to get the actual correct reflection on a piece of jewelry is very, very costly, in terms of like you craft a amulet like this, and then you have to spend like multiple Hinekura's luck in order to fish for the actual result that you want. So yeah, it is just very, very hard. Yeah. So what I want to say here is you can realistically just try to fish for anything that is like, I would say 60%, maybe 50% reduced projectile speed is okay. It's not going to be as strong as what I have right here right now, but you should be able to have way more damage, way more than enough damage to trivialize a fight, like for example in this case the Uber fight, the Uber Cortex fight. The thing that you will need to use is going to be, first of all three of these passive nodes. So you will have additional 10% projectile speed over here. So if you have like a 50% reduced projectile speed amulet, you will have a total of 70%. And then you have 15% less projectile speed over here. And you also will need to use, for maximum damage potential, you will need to use the reduced projectile speed gem, which is this one over here, for 30% more or less projectile speed. So total, you have 45% less projectile speed on a roughly 70% reduced. So the actual speed is 30% and then 45% less of that. So you have roughly 16.5% projectile speed, which is roughly equal to the projectile speed that I'm having right now, or at least it is in the sweet spot. So yeah, that is going to be the kind of requirement to get the same amount of single target. But if we take aside the single target problem, this same setup without projectile speed is absolutely solid for just a template of a claw melee character, or claw projectile melee, or claw character. So you can use like Spectral Throw, what is the Cobra Lash for range, and you can use Lightning Strike. basically any projectile skill will benefit very, very heavily from this kind of setup. You can use like lightning strike and then swap to freaking molten strike for single target as well, because we have a lot of increased attack damage scaling for projectile attack from the Lion's Pelt Obscurantis item over here. So those are going to be like a very good thing. I think if you don't have projectile speed, you can just have the anything that is life and minus lightning resistant on the amulet. You don't need like 200% like I have right here, because you are having like way over cap on lightning resistant. And if I turn off purity of element, you need like probably 100% here. Or as I'm not having any negative on the ring, so you can have more on the ring. Yeah, just try to get close to 100% to have the maximum amount of damage from Doriani prototype. And if you are not shoehorning into getting reduced projectile speed, you can get things in the amulet slot that is like critical multiplier, which is extremely strong for this build, where you scale attack speed, damage, flat damage, increased damage from, and critical strike chance from accuracy rating, but you do not have crit multiplier. So crit multiplier on a amulet is extremely strong. And you also obviously can just have more accuracy from this amulet slot. So it is actually a very solid template for like mid-budget melee build that is using a claw skill, a projectile skill like lightning strike, which is super meta right now. I think it deserves more credit than it looks like. It is solid, right? I really like this setup with the Frostblade of Katabasis. I do not need to swap out anything at all, and it feels pretty good. So I would highly, highly recommend anyone who didn't try accuracy stacking before to give it a try. It is extremely fast mapper. It can clear everything that is not like bossing for a 4 lanes, which is what I use for the entirety of this character until now. It clears tier 17 as well, but I don't farm tier 17 with this character. The reason why is the damage is there, but the defense for tier 17 is not there at all. All of the things that we are having in here is pretty much invested into very, very offensive focus. The only thing defensive that we are getting is the 2 endurance charges and some life, and maybe a little bit on the ascendancy. But I don't think that is enough to handle tier 17. Tier 17, the main problem with tier 17 is you have a lot of random damage over time things that can just randomly cut you off guard, and you're just going to randomly get one shot as well. So it doesn't feel good. You can do it, but you should be tankier to do it. That is what I like. Maybe we can tweak the setup a little bit more to be tankier. Right here, I would say the tankiness of this character is way, way off. With 5 endurance charges up and the flask up, let me see if I have all the flask up, and 5 endurance charges, so 5 times 4, we are not even getting 90% estimated physical damage reduction. So not even pure physical reduction, but estimated, and we do not have like enough yet. So yeah, we need to be a little bit tankier, but it's pretty hard. And okay, we need to actually turn on this over here so to capital arrest. Suppression 77% with lucky suppression is okay. You can have 100% very easily if you want to invest a little bit more into it, because you have suppression here 17% already, so plus 77. Then you need 6% more from some sources, maybe 1-2 point in here, I don't know, you know, you figure out. Maybe a little bit of tattoo, maybe a little bit more dexterity from somewhere, you will get like enough suppression for cap 100%. But for a softcore character right here, 77% spell damage suppression with lucky means roughly 98-99% already. So I'm okay with it. I'm not dying too often for the content that I do, so I'm okay with it, right? And right now I am farming Cortex, Uber Cortex, to try and see if I get any luck. We'll see, we'll see. So yeah, that is everything I want to share with you in this video today. I think it is way longer than it should be, but this time I will put like timestamp in the description, so it is easier to navigate through the video. But I think, again, final conclusion, accuracy stacking is a solid setup. It does have an insane amount of speed and an insane amount of damage potential, but it is very hard to scale defense, enough defense layer to do like tier 17 and such content, right? You can trivialize with like additional investment into shenanigan like reduce projectile speed and spectral helix like I do over here. But if you don't want to go like too crazy and just want a fast mapper, efficient mapper, and you can just use this setup. Again, the amulet is not necessary. I have disclaimed this problem multiple times. So sincerely, I don't want to see anyone mention this in the comment section, but if someone does, it is what it is, right? Yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. And remember to please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Peace.